All righty, here we are again. For those of you who are somebody already there, has to be Michael. For anybody else who's there, just starting obviously a couple of minutes early to make sure that everything's lined up properly for the net. I'm wanting to make sure YouTube works. I fired up. I fire up the initial part of it about 5 or 8 minutes into it to make sure it's all functional. Um, Nothing more than that. Just making sure I got my paperwork lined up. Got to fire up the old brain cells to figure out if they still work. I have to remember some people. We have the now regular method here of seeing the SWR on the screen, which seems to help people enjoy that. At least I think they do. I don't think they have anything else. Other than it's another Saturday night fever net. Maybe that's what we'll call it. Saturday night fever. Single sideband, the B triple S net. Oh, now we have two people there. I don't have that oddball in here again tonight. Kicked one off last time for being crude and rude, insensitive and stupid. But I'm going to be starting here in about 5 seconds, so stand by. There we go. Is the frequency in use? I don't think it is. Fine business. My name is Paul, K4PEW at the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? Very good. You can, anytime you might have an emergency and you need outside assistance, don't hesitate to give me a buzz or give anybody a buzz because I say a buzz, give them a call and just break in and say, I need help. But it better be genuine help. 911 is the place to go. I see Jay Kirby, KD8RRO, is checking in from downtown Nashville. I presume he's at work, I guess. At any rate, we have he checks in on the chat here. Let's see what else we have. Oh yeah, anytime for emergency information or emergency traffic, information on the net can be found at our website 146415.net. You'll see that right there for those of you on the web, you can see the 146415.net. That's 146415.net. Just same as our frequency, except for the decimal moves over 3 places. Or you can look at Yahoo groups on MJ_SS, Mike Juliet _ Sierra, and that's, of course, you can also join the group there to get on our mailing list. Or you can write me an email at Kilo4 Papa Echo Whiskey at ARRL.net. And the net normally meets at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday evenings. And the purpose of the net, of course, is to have fun and support and train ham radio operators for emergency communications. And ultimately, it drives most of us to do better with our rigs, our feed line, and our antenna efficiency heights, and those kind of things. Anyway, we invite everyone to use the nets to announce amateur radio events, activities, and training in support of the local community. Does anybody have any announcements? All right, nothing heard. Then I'll use my announcements, which are: we have tonight is, of course, the buy, sell, swap, and swindle net that immediately follows a 2-meter net. If you have anything to buy or sell, please get ready to give us a little word on that after the net. And then, of course, we have the 2-meter single sideband net immediately following that on upper sideband 144.240. So, does anybody need any fill or questions, additions, subtractions, or logarithmic progressions on any of that stuff? All righty. Those are my announcements. Plus, we've got, of course, this is Saturday. So Tuesday is the Vanderbilt Amateur Radio Club's net on 443 800. And it's a plus offset and a tone of 123, and it is on Tuesdays at 7:30. And of course, we have a net again here on Wednesday, same place, same time, same frequency, except we don't do the 2-meter sideband net. We might do the disastrous 2-meter. The 70 centimeter net, which doesn't work out too good when we only get 5 people showing up for that. But anyway, any other questions, additions, or any other things going on that I need to know about before we get started? Somebody asked about no fancy T-shirt.
N0JPD.
Are you checking in early? Yeah, I hear you in there, Andy. Well, we haven't started with check-ins yet.
Oh, sorry. I was just getting the computer and everything turned on. I thought you heard it. I think I was listening to a previous recording is what I heard. Okay.
All right, very good. We'll let it pass. All right. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, yes. I'm going to start the net. That's what we're going to do. Tonight we'll be starting with, I forget where we started last time. Hold on, bear with me. Yeah, we started with the south last time, so this time we start out with the east. Please come now.
WA4ZHI.
Hey, how you doing, James?
Doing all right, I guess.
So you got to be number one spot today.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Well, I try to move it around, and I try to keep it the same moving around. Sometimes I goof, though.
Well, you're doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, kind of. Good signal tonight. Everything else going well for you?
Yeah, it's kind of a quiet, lazy day today.
Yeah, join the club. I did the same thing, a little bit of nothing. Or a lot of nothing, actually. I got to do some more stuff tomorrow, though. All right, James, good to have you in there. And, of course, that's James Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India, and he is in the heart of Mount Juliet, just east of the library. Who else in Mount Juliet here, east of Mount Juliet Road? Please come now.
KN4LXH.
Yeah, I'd show you the back of my T-shirt, but I don't want to turn my back on the camera now. Weren't you just asking about that?
Yeah, what crew are you a member of?
Okay, hang on. Are you on this? Are you looking at it on the video?
Yeah.
All right, stay with 1 second. Hopefully you can read that. I don't know. I was a volunteer on the Radio Shack on the USS American Victory in Tampa when I lived down there, and so that was a lot of fun because we go out to sea and do maritime mobile for a day every couple of times a year. It was a lot of fun.
Oh man, if I went out to sea, it'd get messy for me.
No, that big old ship wasn't too messy. It's almost 600 feet long. It's like a cruise ship.
Oh, okay, but just bounces slower then, huh?
Oh, a lot slower, yeah. And of course, it only goes out to the mouth of Tampa Bay in the Gulf of Mexico and then turns around and comes back.
Oh, heck, that's no fun. You got to get out in the deep ocean.
Well, I did enough of that in the Navy. I don't want to do that anymore.
Okay, I can understand that.
Yeah, I haven't ever even been on a cruise ship in the almost 48 years since I've been out of the Navy. So I don't even care if I go on a ship again at sea.
Well, I've never been on a cruise ship, but it's been 72 years since I've been on a cruise ship, and I'm only 72 years old.
Very good. Well, you were in your mother. You were encased in fluids, so you were swimming then.
That's true, but I couldn't throw up.
No. I don't think you can anyway. I know you can do other things in there, like that merconium. You ever hear that merconium staining?
I don't know, man. We're on a subject I just know nothing about here.
Well, I knew it because I worked in a women's hospital. But that's when babies, sometimes inside the womb, before they get delivered, they actually poop. And it's somewhat hazardous because it can cause some problems, but it's called merconium staining. I don't know why they call it that. I never bothered to ask. All right, now that we've covered that, my whole knowledge of infants in the womb. You doing all right, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm kind of hungry.
Well, poor baby.
Oh, listen, worst things could happen. It wouldn't hurt me to miss a meal either.
I'm not saying a word. I can't say anything.
Yeah, very good. Well, I weigh somewhere around 275, 280, so I'm pretty sure I could miss a meal or two and You wouldn't. Nobody, including me, would know the difference. All right, Jimmy. Good to hear you in there. Great signal tonight. Of course, that's Jimmy Kilo November 4 Lima X-Ray Hotel, and he's up in the north end of Mount Juliet. Well, kind of the north end, up by Lebanon Road, north of the high school. And a great signal, though, Jimmy. Who else we got east of Mount Juliet Road?
KE4TWF.
Oh, you're checking in kind of early on me, aren't you? How you doing, Wes?
I'm doing good. You're sounding good. Hey, did you hear about the kidnapping in Mount Juliet this week?
No. It's a crime wave.
Don't worry, he woke up.
He woke up. Kidnapping. What was? I'm not following you.
Oh, you just missed the joke. And that was a free one, too. All right, I'm out. KE4TWF.
Oh, the kidnapping. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I was thinking you were serious. But I guess not. But anyway, that was Wes, and he is in just a little bit north of Watertown. It's Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India with a joke. I was a little slow on the uptake there, thinking he was serious about crime. We do have increasing crime in Mount Juliet, but it's kind of normal for a growth area. All right, sound good though, Wes. Who else east of Mount Juliet Road? Please come in.
Kilo 4 Whiskey United.
Hey, using them non-approved phonetic words.
Hey, I approved them. I got the paper here that signed it.
Yeah, I know you do. It's actually a pretty easy one, that United. But you used whiskey, so you should have changed that too.
I don't know. Okay. What is it? Kilo 4 Whiskey Uniform. I think that's proper.
Yeah, it would be, yes. You're right. I don't know what else to use for W. You can do this. You can use my last name. Kilo 4 Wilazinski Uniform.
I think I'll stay with the easy one. Your last name's like my last name. They're not easy.
No, I understand. I don't think anybody would use Wilazinski for certain. They wouldn't. Maybe Wilson or Willow, but certainly not Wilazinski. All right, Bill, you sound good in there. Good to have you in there tonight. Appreciate all you do over there with the Lebanon group and the EOC stuff. I guess it's WEMA, not really the EOC. Did they ever call it the EOC?
Negative. We call it WEMA.
Yeah, WEMA sounds kind of weird.
EOC actually is another group that's city-based. I think they've got their repeater on UHF. I used a bad word. Sorry, repeater that is. But they're over there by the fairgrounds. So yeah, there's an EOC, but it's more city-operated, Paul. And one quick thing, don't forget Winter Field Day, January 26th and 27th, Wilson County Fair.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot to mention the Wilson County Field Day, or the Winter Field Day, that is being sponsored at the location there at the Lebanon Fairgrounds, and that's the 26th and 27th of January. A lot of people do that from home, but if weather permitting, it's a good event. And I remember though a couple of years ago I was there. It was so windy, it was hard to. It was pretty windy. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, it was out kind of in an open field there. We have a little better arrangements. We'll be mostly inside, so should be a pretty good event. So if you want to participate, just contact me on my email, and that's Kilo 4 Whiskey Uniform at bellsouth.net. So anyway, Paul, appreciate it. I wish you Merry Christmas and your family.
Yeah, very good, Bill. That's right. This is the last one. It will be the last one before Christmas. Forgot all about that. But anyway, if you want to participate in that Winter Field Day at the Wilson County Fairgrounds, which is just southeast of Lebanon, that would be get in contact with Bill, and his call is also his email. It's Kilo 4 Whiskey Uniform at bellsouth.net. That's BELLSOUTH. November Echo Tango. All right, very good. Anybody have any questions about that? All right, very good. This is Kilo 4 Papa Whiskey. Papa Whiskey. Papa Echo Whiskey. I can't even get my call right. And I'm looking for more check-ins east of Mount Juliet Road. And that was Bill, Kilo 4 Whiskey Uniform, and he is in Possum Town, if you know where that is.
Hey, I'm Paul Riggs and W for Washington for WK. Can't say anything.
was having some troubles there, Stan. You're doing all right though.
Yeah, doing pretty good, Paul. You got me all confused there with W.
I know. Yeah, don't. I normally don't have problems with the phonetics, but sometimes it's easy to get tongue tied if I'm trying to do a couple of things at the same time. And there's no such thing as multitasking in my brain anymore.
Oh, no, Merry Christmas, Paul.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you, Stan. I appreciate you checking in. Of course, that's Stan. He's in just a little bit north of downtown Lebanon. And that's Kilo Mike 4 Hotel Quebec Echo. And you have a good signal. Stan, were you listening on 70 centimeters on the last net?
No, I don't have my 70 centimeter antenna up.
Okay, the reason I was asking was that Kevin told me he couldn't even hear me on the 70 centimeter net. And I thought that was odd because I was on full power, and it's very possible he couldn't hear me, though. I mean, it's not like he has a bad system over there. So I was just wondering if you also had the same problems. All right, very good, Stan. That was, again, Stan, KM4HQE in Lebanon. Who else? East of Mount Juliet? Anybody else east?
Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo Whiskey Charlie.
Hey, how you doing there? I'll think of your name in a second here. It is Jeff. Again, I'm losing my mind here on names. How you doing, Jeff?
Good, very good this evening. Thank you. Oh, and Merry Christmas to you, too.
Yeah, very good, Jeff. You doing all right over there? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yes, I am. I was kind of busy, so I missed a few nets.
Oh, that's all right. There was no rules here. You do what you can, and family and work comes first, and we come at least in third place there.
Yes, sir. Hey, at least I get to check in a little.
All right, very good. Appreciate you being there, Jeff. And of course, that's Jeff, Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo Whiskey Charlie. Yeah, a good signal as well there coming from Lebanon. Who else east of Mount Juliet? Second to last chance, east of Mount Juliet Road. All right, we're going north then, north of Mount Juliet, north of Lebanon Road or Division Street. North to Alaska. No, it's not that. It's north of Lebanon, north of Lebanon Road, north of Division Street, north of Mount Juliet. Please come down. I went to sleep up there. They roll up the sidewalks north of Lebanon Road right at about 8 o'clock. Who else we got then west of Mount Juliet, west of Mount Juliet Road? Please come down.
Kilo India 4, Wilosinski, Bravo 4, Alpha Whiskey Echo.
Yeah, hold on, John. Which one did I have in there? The Kilo India 4, Wilosinski. What was the last part of that?
Bravo Zulu.
Hi, how you doing, Chris? Haven't heard from you in a while either. Good to have you in there.
Good to be in. Thought I'd check in. That way I'm only missing one net this week.
Yeah, well, while I write things down, I don't keep track. It's not like I have a roster that says somebody has or hasn't been here. So, but it's good to have you in there. You doing okay?
Yeah, keep busy. Just working on my to-do list. Got all my Christmas shopping done, so just trying to work on stuff at home, so I'm not out dealing with all the crazy drivers doing last-minute Christmas shopping. Don't really have much for the net other than just tell everybody Merry Christmas and let you move on to the next one. Back to net. Yeah, 4WBZ.
Yeah, very good, Chris. Chris, you're in Donaldson, right?
Hermitage.
Ah, there we go. I had it wrong again. So you got to check it more often so I remember. Yeah, it's Hermitage. Hermitage. All right, very good. That was Chris, Kilo India 4 Whiskey Bravo Zulu, and he's in Hermitage. He's been around a long time and checks in periodically, and glad to have him in there. John, Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. How you doing tonight?
Oh, doing good. I'm just trying a different crossband setup.
Well, you're only about 30 over.
Well, I'm still going through the little Kenwood or another one that's similar to it, and but I changed the HT. Sometimes I forget how good the Kenwood 74A is.
Yeah. Now, when you do that, do you notice that I will have to notice because You are obviously when you're cross banding, you don't have any mic preamp either.
Well, but one thing about this Kenwood HT actually has a built-in parametric equalizer on both transmit and receive. In fact, it gives you a different adjustment on all the different modes. So I've actually got the EQ peaked up more like I would on an HF set. Over.
Yeah, it's doing real fine. It's modulating very well, and it looks like it's bouncing up over and over. And I think it's 40 over. Pretty sure it is. I can't read the meter backwards on my screen, unfortunately, and I'm not going to turn the thing around to look at it. But yeah, no, you're doing great.
But power-wise, it's 50 watts out of the Kenwood 71.
Yeah, well, it's not the 90 you get out of the other machine.
Yeah, it's like you've said before. Literally, once you get over about 35 or so, it's all pretty much in the ballpark.
Yep. Given all things being equal, you're right. It's just funny. If you don't have a good signal, doesn't matter whether you got 90 or 190.
I mean, honestly, it's basically all feed line and antenna anyway.
Yeah, and I proved that by when I did I went to 0.05 on my handheld on the same antenna, and I got copy all the way up into Belshire, Northeast. Well, I say all the way into Northeast Nashville, which full copy.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't surprise me either. But I'm sure that if conditions change, that might not be same as true. But all right, John, that was John, Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo, and he's over in Bellevue, just southwest of Nashville. Who else? West of Mount Juliet, please come on.
Kilo Oscar 4 X-Ray Hotel.
All right, we got Kilo Oscar 4 X-Ray Hotel, and you've stumped me here. I'm not sure who that is. What's your name and location, please?
Name is Ralph. I'm in Donaldson. First time check-in.
All right, so my memory isn't completely wasted. Well, you got to understand, Ralph. We've been doing this net for 4 years in October, November, 3 months, a little over 3 months, and we've had probably about 200 people check in over time. A lot of them are pretty regulars, but sometimes there's people who checked in 2 years ago and they just got around to getting back to us, and I don't necessarily remember who they are.
Roger, I can understand that, and you do a magnificent job with keeping track of all those names. Over.
Well, so most of them are pretty regular, most. But it's good to hear you in there, Ralph. How'd you hear about the net?
Oh, Marty and Carrie told me about it today. First time I'd heard about it.
Oh, great. Yeah, word's getting out. It's we just, if you can imagine this, I had an interview on with Bob Heil, of Heil microphone people on his Twit network. It's not his network, but his channel that he has there. And I reviewed it just a couple of 3 weeks ago, and I noticed that I had told him we were averaging 12 check-ins, and this was in March of this year, so it's only 9 months ago. And well, now we've been on the air, almost 4 years then, 3.5 years, with 12 average check-ins. And now, just 9 months later, we're averaging in the mid-20s, 20 to 24 to 28 check-ins every night. So it's really been quite astounding, the growth recently.
Well, that is fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that the ham radio network is or the activity is picking up again.
Oh, I think it is, but it's one of those things that I think it's no different in Simplex, and I think we've proved it or proven it, is that you notice everybody's, oh, the bands are dead, and then it's funny, they have a field day or they have some big special event, and all of a sudden the bands are open. You go, oh, that can't be possible. The weather doesn't comply with us. It's just that if you got to get on the air to hear people.
Roger. Well, I appreciate your effort and appreciate the opportunity to check in, and Merry Christmas to everyone on the net.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you, Ralph. Where are you located? You said are you up in North Nashville area?
I'm in Donaldson.
All right, very good. That was Ralph in Donaldson. Great signal. Kilo Oscar 4 X-Ray Hotel. Obviously, one of the new Simplextons. Simplexton is a term if you look on our website there. But good to have you in there, Ralph. Who else? Where was I? West of Mount Juliet. Please come on.
WY4G.
Hey, how you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing. I'm tired, but busy week, busy day, but I'm here.
Well, are you having any extended days off due to Christmas?
I'm on vacation next week.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. That's great. You're going to be able to. Please tell me you're not working two more jobs during your vacation.
No, I'm not doing anything really. I'm not planning on doing anything. Week I'm gonna just rest.
Yeah, I got you. So you got signal sounds good, and you're hearing more stations, obviously, and that must make you a little happier.
Oh yeah, sometime here soon. I don't know how soon, but I'm planning on getting new radio and another antenna. I'm gonna get that diamond antenna, the 300, the one that I can't afford the one like you have. Not yet, anyway.
Hey, listen, I know I put that purchase of the antenna off for more years than I care to say, but it was worth the wait. It really was, and I'm sure you'll do great though with that 300. I'm confident you'll really you'll really enjoy that a lot more with that 300. Yeah, for everybody who hasn't heard it before, the antenna I have costs like $387. It's X700, and as I recently mentioned, the X stands for expensive. All right, Jeff, good to have you in there. That's Jeff Whiskey Yankee 4 Golf, and he is in Madison. Good signal. He's looking to improve his antenna here sometime in the near future. It's like everything else. The wish list is in the MFJ catalog, the Diamond catalog, the Cushcraft catalog, whatever. All right, very good. We can all wish anyway. Doesn't cost anything to do that. Who else we got west of Mount Juliet?
KM4YRF.
I'm not looking. Are you looking on the web page? And is there anybody acting silly?
Not that I can see.
I just want to make sure because I'm usually not looking at it, and that's why I caught that one a little late on the last net.
Yeah, that was silly.
Well, yeah, to say the least. You think people have better things to do than to, gross people out.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to say hey to Ralph. Ralph, I'm really glad you checked in and joined the group.
Hey, Mike. Good to see you, or good to hear you.
I'll talk soon.
All right, very good. Getting a regular party line going here. Yeah, I was going to say something about that fella. He doesn't realize I'm ex-Navy. I'm pretty sure I could outgross him 10 times over, and I don't think he'd like it. All righty, that was Michael, KM4YRF. That's Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot, and he's got a great signal there with an identical antenna. He's also, as I do, that X700, the very expensive one. So he also is independently poor at this point, just like me. Who else we got west of Mount Juliet? Please come in. Anybody else west of Mount Juliet, west of Davidson County, Pegram, anywhere? Please come in. Franklin, please come in, or even Memphis.
I got a comment on something, Paul.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
As WY4G, I don't know if you know this or not, but ICOM is coming out with a new VHF, UHF, and 23 centimeter rig. It still has to be approved by the FCC, but it's called the IC 9700. It looks just like the 7300.
And what's going to be different about it?
No HF. It's going to be VHF, UHF, and 23 centimeter only. And it looks identical to the IC 7300.
But no HF on it at all.
Nope, just VHF, UHF, and 23 centimeters UHF as well, but that's included in it. It's all band. All mode. It's an all mode radio.
That's cool. I'll have to look for that. Jeff is saying that an ICOM 7900 coming out. It's identical to the 7300, but no HF, and it's an all mode rig for 23 centimeter, 2 meter, and 70 centimeter. It's kind of interesting. There must be a demand for it, or ICOM wouldn't be building it, I guess. I'll have to look that up. ICOM 7900. All righty. Who else west of Mount Juliet? Please come in.
It might be 9700. It's 79 or 97. I can't remember right now, but that's what it is. That Okay, that's all I had to comment on WY4G.
Yeah, it'll be easy to figure out because that sounds like pretty big news for a new product coming out like that. We'll be able to figure it out. All right. Anybody else west of Mount Juliet, please come down. Nothing heard. Moving around to the south. All right, Andy, well, you're up.
N0JPD. Good evening, Paul. You're sounding good over here, man.
All right, you sound good as well. It's a mutual admiration society. You with your, what is it, 60-foot tower?
Nah, it's not on the tower. It's up about 60 feet, but not on the tower. She's just hanging up there.
Hanging. We got a tree?
Yeah, she's hanging out of a tree. I got some other masts and things going, but this one, the GP9, it's up there hanging about 60 feet, just free hanging.
Whatever works, that's the key here, isn't it?
Yeah, I call it my air tower.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was a tower. I don't know why. I don't think you told me it was a tower. I just presumed it was if it's up that high,
Nah, I got another mast that's up about that high with a smaller antenna, an AR-270, but yeah, this GP9, she's just hanging up there. Little slingshot action and getting the rope in the right place, and she's hanging up there.
Yeah, I was going to do a test one night. I haven't done it yet because it's too much. It's not a lot of work, but I was going to take a bow and arrow, and shoot it up through. I got a poplar tree in the front yard. It's a good 60 feet tall, and I was going to shoot it up and drag up this 2-meter collinear wire antenna I have vertical, and get it up in the air and see how well that performed on 50 watts. For the net, or maybe off the net first in case it was really disappointing.
Yeah, you never know if you play around with them. Yeah, earlier I was looking for the live button. I guess it was a recording playing from earlier, and I heard you say south, and I actually thought that was you coming over the radio live, but I was hearing a previous recording.
Yeah, that's great. It's funny. It's not like these get a lot of viewers outside of us. You know what I'm saying? I don't think people in Washington State really give a darn, or Japan, about whether we're doing a Simplex Net.
No, probably not a whole lot of hits from Japan way, but hey, man, you're sounding good tonight, and I'm glad to hear a lot of the guys on and say Merry Christmas to everybody. But they actually had time to get down the shack tonight, and I thought, well, let me jump on the old Simplex Net.
Yeah, very good, Andy. Appreciate it, and I'm glad you're there. That was N0JPD, and you're gonna have to remind me again. Smyrna, right?
Yeah, over here in Smyrna.
Yeah, that's right. Smyrna, some people say.
It's kind of a tough one. There's every state has a Smyrna in it.
Yeah, and everybody's got an Albany, but it seems like everybody's got they're very common names. You're right. I think there's a Polk County in 20 of the states.
Yeah, it gets confusing. I think there's a Miami, Missouri too, which is really confusing.
Yeah, and I lived in Tampa, but there's also a Tampa, Kansas, I think it is.
Boy, that's all it takes to spin me around, because now I'm confused. Yeah, that would do it.
I know. And there's a Miami in Ohio too.
Another Miami in Ohio. I knew there was one in Missouri. So yeah, you can't just say I'm in Miami, because you might mean Miami somewhere else.
Well, I'm from a town with Niagara Falls. There's only one of those. There is a Niagara County over in Michigan or somewhere over there, but not a Niagara Falls.
Yeah, sure, you got that one. That's unique there. But yeah, you're sounding real good over here tonight. The cold weather's helping out, and got Jack Frost nipping on our nose, and yeah, all geared up for the season.
Yeah, you sound great, Andy. In fact, you have great audio, although you're only about just 10 or so over.
Yeah, I think there's always something. There's always an obstacle between me and Mount Juliet ways. If I use a smaller antenna, it gets even lower. So that GP9 can sling it out. But yeah, I think there's stuff in between here and there anyway.
It's funny. In the middle of that, I was watching the meter, which I rarely do. I was watching a meter, and you were consistently over, like 10 over. And then in the middle of the sentence, it dropped down to about an S8. And it was in your audio stayed exactly the same.
Yeah, probably voltage drop there.
Yeah, see, that's where you are right there. You at that transmission, it was down at the lower level.
Yeah, just voltage dropping off my battery that I run just for when I'm using the amp.
Ah, okay. Well, very good. That would explain it then. I just wanted to make sure you if you hadn't seen that before. I hadn't noticed that before either on anyone for that matter. But I can usually, usually discern these things if they're dropping power or something, that the audio drops off. But yours didn't drop off at all.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because I don't run that through my regular power supply, so the voltage will begin to drop on the battery a little bit when I run the amp.
All righty, I got you. Well, very good, Andy. Good to have you in there. That's Andy, November 0, Juliet, Papa Delta, and he's in Smyrna. Who else we got south of Mount Juliet, please? South of 40.
MPV.
Hey, Terry, I doubled with you. I'm not saying it probably. And that was K. Say, give you a call again. It's KE4 MPV.
KN4. Kilo November 4.
Oh, there you go. How could I forget that? Very good. How you doing, Terry?
I'm doing okay, Paul. How are you doing and your family?
Oh, everybody's doing pretty good. Me and my mini nursing home here. It's always a lot of fun. I didn't think I'd be doing this in my retirement, but that's all right. In fact, my mother asks me now, she goes, "When are you on the air tonight so I don't bother you?" Because she bothers me with the things that she has difficulty. Well, you know what I'm saying. The normal things that elderly people have difficulty doing, like, hey, could you get me this, from another room, because it's a big process in a walker going from one place to the other. But anyway, no, it's really not that bad. It's not for everybody, obviously. I've learned that I actually have to have a lot more patience than I used to.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, that's where you got the meter there now. I can actually read that thing good now. You done good there, Paul. And I guess I notice we're having a few less check-ins tonight, maybe, but I guess, a lot of family activities with Christmas and stuff, and people traveling and all that probably is what the deal is. But anyway, I'm glad I could get to you tonight and give you one more there, and I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and the whole works. If we don't talk to them, and 73s to everyone. And Merry Christmas. And I appreciate all the flowers from everybody.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Terry. And that was Terry, Kilo Mike 4, Mike Papa Victor, and he's in Murfreesboro. Great signal. Like I said, I don't usually look at the meters so much. I probably should, but yeah, the meter's a nice addition. I like that because I'm trying to remember, one of the guys recommended it to me. I'm trying to remember. I think might have been Robin. Maybe Robin did. I don't recall. He just thought, I said, yeah, you're right. It's a good idea because I had done that before, but not as well as this little setup here. It's actually sitting on top of a cardboard box that I put that little graphic on it with the website on it. But anyway, good to have you in there, Terry. Who else we got south of 40? Please come in.
Wilozinski 7 Alpha Bravo Lima. I say again, Whiskey 7 Alpha Bravo Lima.
All righty. And I forget if I recognize the voice, but I don't recognize the call. Who is this?
W7ABL. This is Aaron Logan here in actually just south of 40 in Mount Juliet.
Ah, very good, Aaron. Whiskey 7 Alpha Bravo Lima. Just south of 40, huh? Aaron. Have you been checked in before, or is my memory gone again?
I think your memory's gone. I think I've checked in 2 or 3 times since I moved here in October. And for the record, I don't know of any Smyrnas in Washington State. And those Washington State boys, boy, they're a handful.
I bet they are. You're right. I do remember now. That's right. You do some traveling. You're not always around. That's what the deal was, wasn't it? And you actually we're from out in the 7 land, obviously.
Roger that. Yeah, I just got back last Friday, and the reason that brought me out here has come to fruition, if you will. And this is a heavy week for me.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a big week for a lot of people, and yeah, to answer Terry's question, doesn't really matter ultimately to me whether who checks in or how many people check in. We're not trying to break any records. We just like to get on the air and have some fun. And whoever checks in. It's whoever shows up is important. The others have other things usually to do, or they be here. But Aaron, the one thing, and one of the other people on the net who moved here recently from California, the big surprise is that you can get a pretty nice place here for about 1/3 or a half of what you pay out west.
Yeah, with the exception of renting apartments. It's funny, the cost of renting in Washington State in a house is equivalent to renting an apartment in Mount Juliet. Literally, dollar for dollar, with a third of the total space of what I was getting in Washington. It's interesting because out here you could buy a house and have a mortgage that is easily a third of the total cost of the payment that you would see there.
Yeah, guys, Terry, Aaron, I just want to point out again. I'm looking at the meter, and I'm not prone to do that a lot, but you actually were pegging the meter with the signal, but your audio is not very loud. If you listen to it later, I don't know if you're on the line now, but at about 8:37, excuse me, at 37 minutes into the hour or 39 or so, you'll hear it. But your audio is low, but the signal is pegging the meter, which it would from your location.
It could be that I'm not holding the radio close enough to my face. I'm walking back and forth. It's been a cold wait for you to call this area, so maybe I'm just shivering a little too much while I'm waiting for my turn to talk.
That's right. You're on the HT, aren't you?
Roger that. I don't have anything set up yet, just the basic handheld.
Yeah, that's why I forgot that you were using an HT, because you're pegging the meter here, which is a testimony to a decent HT, and I've got a decent antenna, so we're doing good. Of course, we're only about a little over a mile, maybe a mile and a half apart. But yeah, good to have you in there, Aaron. That's Aaron Whiskey 7 Alpha Bravo Lima, and probably hardly anybody but me can hear him unless they're right around this vicinity. But he's on an HT here in Mount Juliet, just south of 40. I appreciate you coming in there, Aaron. Yeah, I'll try to remember you next time. As soon as you mentioned about checking in before in the 7 call, it rung a bell with me. Who else we have south of Mount Juliet?
Kilo Mike 4, Victor Alpha.
Oh, Bravo.
All right.
North yet?
Oh, yeah, we did. We'll come back to you, Charles. Hold on. There was like a triple in there. So I got Dan in there first. Dan, Victor Alpha. How you doing tonight?
Doing fine. I heard Aaron. Good signal, but quiet. And I was just curious, how did Colt wind up with his STEM scouts the other day? I got on to listen, but I couldn't pick him up at all.
Oh, yeah. No, I was able to copy him, and Jen over there near you was as well. Of course, her antenna's up in the air more than yours is, I believe.
Well, I was only on the HT anyway. With the weather being colder, I don't get out into the garage for the base station with the J-pole. So I was just curious how he got out.
He got out pretty good. Again, he was at almost ground level, I think, with a mag mount or something like that. In that, you didn't miss much, believe me. Not that it wasn't okay for him to be there. He did fine, I'm sure. It's just that on the air, you forget how goofy junior high schoolers are.
I'm old. I don't remember that far back.
No, I don't remember it either. I'm sure you and I weren't that goofy, though. I'm confident of it.
Absolutely not. But anyway, to anybody that can hear me, Merry Christmas and enjoy the holiday.
Yeah, very good. Good to have you in there, Dan. That was Dan, Kilo Mike 4, Victor Alpha, and he's over there just in the apartments near Providence, south of 40, right here east of Mount Juliet Road. Good to have you in there, Dan, and good signal. And obviously, you're back from your trips.
Well, I haven't had very many trips, but I've had a number of medical problems with the back, and that's what's kept me off the air on some nights.
Oh, yeah. No, you had gone somewhere, though. That's what I'm asking. You did something the last couple of weeks. You went somewhere.
No, I really didn't. I don't know. I guess you have me confused with someone else on there, but I really have not gone anywhere.
Must have been farther. But you know what it was? You were picking somebody up at the airport, and I was connecting the airport with a trip.
Oh, yeah. My brother came in for my birthday. That's what it was.
Well, he must be hard up for something to do. He comes in for your birthday.
Well, 75, 3/4 of a century old. When he turned 75, I took a trip down in New Orleans for him, so I guess he felt sorry for me and took me out to Ruth Chris and, just a milestone, I guess.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's good. It's good to have family that will come out and visit you. I agree. All right, Dan, good to have you in there. And again, that's Kilo Mike 4, Victor Alpha there here in Providence area. Who else? Oh, I don't know who the other double, triple was, though. But Charles, I'll be back to you in a minute on late check-ins. And who else was south of 40?
AC4SR.
AC4SR, if my memory serves me right. Is that Don?
No, sir, Paul. It's Scott. Down here in Smyrna, Tennessee.
Oh, yes. Right. I'm confusing with you someone else. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Just keeping warm while made some homemade spaghetti tonight, and hers is the best for sure. So I guess you could say we're fat and happy.
Well, it sure beats that Chef Boyardee crap, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. I don't even count that as spaghetti.
No, it's not. It's like the McDonald's of canned Italian food, you know?
Absolutely, if that.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't look at the meter when you were coming in there. Let's just go one more time. So, how many people can you hear down there? Can you hear very many?
Actually, yeah, I can hear quite a few. A lot of the people, actually, I think everyone that's checked in south of 40, I can hear pretty much everybody that's checked in, even the ones with the HT. Of course, the ones with the HTs are a little bit down in the noise floor, but I can hear them fine.
Okay, that's good. I was just looking here. You're running about, I think it's about an S7 here, so you're doing real fine with a real good audio. If you're not listening to it on the web here.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up. I don't have the audio pulled up on it, but I'll review it later for sure. Yeah, I'm just running an HT on a Diamond X30 up about 30 feet with the speaker mic, that kind of setup.
Yeah, no, it's doing great. Yeah, the antenna and the elevation are king. You know, well, a good feed line helps, but it's everything else is in the antenna and the feed line. You know. All right, very good. That's Scott, and I do have that call right. It's Alpha Charlie 4 Sierra Kilo, correct?
It's Alpha Charlie 4 Sierra Romeo, AC4SR 73s, and Merry Christmas to everyone on the net.
Yeah, I can't even read my own writing. I can see that. Never mind. Writing in very small spaces here, and I shouldn't do that. But that's Alpha Charlie 4 Sierra Romeo, and that is in Smyrna, right, Scott?
Yes, sir, it is.
Very good. Scott in Smyrna. Yeah, we've got a few people down in Smyrna, which is great to have. All right, who else saw the 40?
Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet.
I had another double, but Jim was in there first. Hold on, whoever the other party was. That's Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet. Great signal, Jim. And how many people are you copying tonight?
I copied most of them. I even had a copy on Aaron for a second or two with his HT down there. Scott was a little rough this afternoon, but for the most part, I pretty much copy everybody to point the antenna at them. If not, well, I'm just too lazy to reach up and hit the button.
Yeah, I got you. Well, to be fair, Aaron was walking around, so he probably his head was in the way a couple of times.
Okay, it's 10-watt Saturday, isn't it?
It is if you want it to be.
Okay, I was just checking.
No, you do. Well, again, you can easily get away with 10 watts on that beam. So, and the elevation you have certainly is an advantage. But you're doing great. All righty, that was Jim, and he's down in Woodbury. I always flub that up there, but that's Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet in Woodbury. Great signal, Jim, on 10 watts. Who else we got south of 40?
Whiskey 4 Whiskey Romeo Bravo.
All right, you're going to have to give me a first name because I do not think we've talked before.
Whiskey 4 Whiskey Romeo Bravo. Name is Randy, Radio Alpha 19 Delta Young in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Over.
Very good, Randy. Yeah, Whiskey 4 Whiskey Romeo Bravo, and you're in Shelbyville. What kind of antenna are you using down there in Shelbyville?
Okay there, Paul. We don't have much. It would almost be called portable. We got a mobile antenna about 10, 12 foot off the ground. We're probably running 25 watts. We're not at home location. We're at my little electronic shop in town. So just a portable setup that we usually monitor with. Usually never around when the net's on. Always doing something else. Just went to wedding, and my wife went Christmas shopping when we got done. So I said, drop me off here, and you go on, and I'll do this. And I have to think about it, so I thought I'd check in. So you're S9 to 20 over. here on this mobile antenna. So you're doing a really good job, Paul. Back to you, W4WRB.
Yeah, well, it's reciprocal in the sense that I'm able to pick you up really fine from Shelbyville using a portable antenna, like a mobile antenna, almost ground level. That you're doing great. So conditions must be really working in our favor as well. You might know Ed there in Shelbyville. Well, he's actually, I guess he's in Shake Rag. You know Ed?
You talking about Uncle Eddie's BGY?
That's him.
Oh yeah, I have to pass his house to get to my house on the way home here in a little while.
Yeah, he checks in fairly routinely here. He's got a real big signal with his beam.
Oh yeah, he's got just a touch of elevation, beam up in the air, good station. I've had a few good stations over the years, and I've got the stuff to put one back together. Let me brag just a little bit. I hold a 92nd worked all states on 2 meter award from back in about 87 or 88. So I know a little bit about Simplex phone. Over.
Oh, absolutely. To work all states on 2 meters. Now, that was 2 meters sideband or 2 meter FM?
Well, it'd be a little of all, but it ends up being mostly CW when it gets all said and done, Paul. And the final states end up being via moon mount.
Oh, wow. Well, doing it in any mode really is a feat on 2 meters because conditions got to be just right and your system's got to be a real good station. So you obviously did a good job working all states on 2 meters.
Yeah, it was a real trick. That was even before the internet. And that was, about 30 years ago. A friend of mine just completed it for the third person ever in the state of Tennessee. And I think his was number 206. So that tells you how hard it is. 30-something years, and it's only gone up another 120 people. And it's a little easier now. The digital signal processing and all that made it just a touch easier. Back to you.
Yeah, I got you. You're right. It would be easier. Although you still, well, I guess having spotting and having the systems on the web that kind of tell you who's available and how good the conditions are changes things quite a bit. But it's still not going to be easy unless you're paying attention to what you're doing.
Oh yeah, the chat rooms, on the internet, and the better radio equipment and all that, along with the digital processing, the FT8, the JT65, all the Joe Taylor stuff, that's really made it much simpler. But it's still a long, hard battle, and it's really your hat should be off to anybody working on it and complete. I sort of watched the guy that just did it. Every time he'd work at U-State, he'd send me a text. He was excited, and I was proud for him. So it's still a job. I did a bunch of it with nothing but an old Icon 251. Bought a Jesus 726, so I'd have one with a CW filter in it. So just imagine how much better equipment is now. I won't bore you with any more details. Just thought I'd check in. Good net you got going, Paul. K4PEW, W4WRB.
Yeah, very good. That was Randy, and he's in Shelbyville with a very low grade antenna at the moment, but he's getting fine into my station. I'm not sure everybody could copy him, but that's Whiskey 4 Whiskey Romeo Bravo. He's in Shelbyville, hoping to get a station back online. That's good. He was just telling me about he worked all states on 2 meters, mostly CW, but even so, that's a feat to work all states on 2 meters, and did that prior to the internet, so it's at least 28 years ago. So. All right, very good. Anybody else south of 40, please come in.
Kilo Delta 4, Zulu Golf Yankee.
Well, I'm pretty sure you were copying Randy, Ed.
Yes, sir. Randy's a great friend of mine, W4WRB Randy. Good evening to you, Randy, as well. This is Kilo Delta 4, Zulu Golf Yankee. Down just right outside of Shelbyville in a little community called Shake Rag. Good evening, Paul, and good evening to everyone on the net.
Yeah, very good. Merry Christmas, Ed. And I think that having somehow you helped the propagation because I was able to copy him just fine on his little antenna.
Oh yeah, he's a great asset to the amateur world. I've been knowing him for a long time. He's really a good friend, and he really he's helped a whole lot in the amateur all around the middle of Tennessee.
Oh, that's great. Well, let's put it this way: my hats off to him for working 2 meters all states. That's quite a feat, really. I mean, working all states in the digital modes is pretty easy these days, but working it on 2 meters isn't easy in any stretch, you know.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, he deserves hats off to him there. I'll turn it back over to you there. Good afternoon to you and Merry Christmas to one and all there. This is Kilo Delta 4, Zulu Golf Yankee.
Yeah, very good, Ed. And of course, that's Ed, and he's actually in Shake Rag near Shelbyville, and that's Kilo Delta 4 Zulu Golf Yankee. Who else out the 40?
K1SPD.
Hey, hold on, Scott. I had an A Alpha Kilo 4 station. Go ahead. Alpha Kilo 4 station.
Kilo 4, Zulu November uniform.
Ah, there we go. Kilo 4 Zulu November uniform. Name and location, please.
The name is Roger, and I'm in Lewisburg, Tennessee.
Ah, Lewisburg. Fantastic. You got a decent signal coming from Lewisburg. That's quite a stretch.
Yes, I've been trying to reach you. I was kind of in the shack and flipping through and heard the net and was hoping I could make contact with you.
Well, I'm glad you did. We really appreciate, and I know I do, hearing stations that are farther away. I'm in the center of things, of course, here in Mount Juliet, being net control. So most of the people that check in, I can hear reasonably well. But I'm guessing you're, as the crow flies, I'm guessing, what is it, 60 miles to you?
I believe so. It would be a good 60 miles.
What antenna are you using there, Roger?
I've got one of those 18-foot fiberglass dual band antennas. I got it 50 foot up.
Ah, very. You mean like one of the trams or one of those?
Yes.
Yeah, it's doing a good job for you. Yeah, I had that before I got this, the Diamond X700, and the difference. Again, I'm not trying to sell you on it, but I was astounded at the difference between the 24-foot Diamond X700 and the 17.5-foot. Well, mine wasn't a tram; it was an OPEK UVS 300. I think it's the same one as the tram, but I'm not positive about that.
Yeah, I believe that's what I've got. It's been a good one, and I may change it in the future, but I'm reading you loud and clear here in Lewisburg.
Yeah, I'm not even sure you're moving the needle, but I got a good audio on you, good solid copy, a little bit of, frying bacon in there, but no big deal.
Sounds good. I just was hoping to reach you. I don't believe I've talked this far Simplex yet, and I was kind of hoping I could get through to make sure I could reach.
Well, you did fine. We appreciate you being in there, Roger. And of course, that's Roger. He's a Kilo 4 Zulu November uniform, and he's in Lewisburg on a vertical, 2 meters 70 centimeter, and I believe it's a tram. That's Roger. Good to have you in there, Roger. Hope you can come back again and see us. Well, hear us and talk to us anyway. All right, who else saw the 40?
K1ADC.
Kilo Echo 4, Sierra, Yankee, Victor.
All right, hold on, Larry. Kilo Echo or Sierra. I got to write these down or I'll forget. Robin, see, you're not even close to DX, man. Do I need to talk to you?
No. I got a bunch of Heathkit stuff that I'll have to go through, so I don't know if anybody would be interested yet, but I'll be posting a list later on.
All right, very good. That's Robin. He's about 5 miles south of me and over there by Percy Priest Lake on the west side of 171 or Mount Juliet Road, and that's Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie. And next up was Larry. Good to have you in there, Robin. We're going to be, of course, doing that buy, sell, swap, and swindle net right afterwards. It's Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor. Larry, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Tom. Doing good, and I got the guy. Most everybody from the south I can hear pretty good, so we'll turn it back to you and let you get on with it. KE4SYB.
Yeah, very good. You were copying that Roger there in Lewisburg, were you?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Okay, very good. Yeah, he was just barely bumping the meter on me, but I mean the audio was just fine. All right, very good. Anybody else south of 40?
K1SPD.
All right, hold on one second. It sounded like I was somebody else in there with you, but was there another station trying to check in besides Scott?
It ain't PPY, but let Scott go ahead.
All righty, we're going age before beauty. Scott, go ahead.
Oh, goodness. I don't know if I want to check in there.
Oh, it's just a joke, although that was age discrimination or something going on there.
Got to remember know who you're talking to is Rusty down there, what he does for a living.
Well, I think he has enough integrity that he wouldn't sue me for one of those silly New Age Marxist lawsuits.
I hope not. All right, we'll carry on with this one. Everyone have a Merry Christmas and safe holiday. K1SPD.
Yeah, quick question. Were you copying Roger down there in Lewisburg?
No, I barely copied Ed in Shelbyville, and I didn't get the other station down there.
Okay, very good. I just wondered how well you were hearing to the south. That's all. Yep. Very good. Appreciate you being in there, Scott. And of course, that's Scott, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta. He is in, where is he? He's in Laverne, right next to Shirley. I think we had Rusty in there. November 8, Papa Yankee. How you doing, Rusty?
Good, Paul. How's your ladies of the house doing?
They're doing pretty good. They're little struggles here and there, but still sitting upright and taking solid food.
Good deal. Well, we're still praying for them. And I was going to tell you, you asked me, probably about a week and a half ago about the elevation here. I did check. I'm at 640 feet, and that was kind of a surprise to me. I wouldn't think the elevation would have been that good.
Well, if I'm looking at, I have to look at the meter, right? But it's like you're 40 over here, so it's really not a problem. I was just confused on the elevation is very good, obviously, at 640, and I'm at, I think the bottom of my antenna is at 725 or something like that. I keep having to figure it out because I don't write it down.
Yeah, I hadn't figured up the total on mine either, but I was also going to tell you, I've got that, new to me, it's not a new radio, but the FT817, and I'm going to try to hit you on the sideband net tonight, but I only got 5 watts, so I may not make it.
Is the 817 has 5 watts on all bands, right?
Right, it's max 5 watts. It'll do half watt, 2, and 5.
Because I got the impression the new one that they came out with, and I don't remember the number that Yaesu put on it, it's almost identical to the one you have, I think. And I think it advertises either 6 or 7.
Yeah, that's the 818, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it did all that trouble putting on a new rig for 1 or 2 watts.
Yeah, I don't really understand that one unless they felt the need, kind of like the guys that build the cars. You know, they have to change them up every year so that people want to buy a new one.
I don't know if that's true or not, because I don't know how long that 817's been out, but they're still selling the 857D, and it's still getting $700 or $800 for it. And you know, Kenwood's still selling that the HT I have for about $300, that THF6A. So I'm not sure that I'm not sure the logic works, but you're right. They do change things just for the sake of change, I think, sometimes.
That's right. I was also going to tell you that really hearing a lot of the stations tonight. I heard the Lewisburg station, Shelbyville station, real strong here.
Well, I guess it's, which antenna are you using?
The 1481.
Okay, 14. I don't know which one that is.
That's the Tram 1481. It's the 17.5-foot one.
Oh yeah, that's the. I think of that as the poor man's X700 because that's what I used to have.
Absolutely, that you're exactly right. That's why I have it, because I'm a poor man.
Well, I tell you, like I said, you probably heard me earlier. I put that off for years. I kept looking at it in the catalog and saying, how can it be worth $387, whatever it is? Now, how can it possibly be worth it? And then I had some extra cash and I bought it and I went, well, it is worth it. It works great.
Yeah, I may upgrade one of these days, one of these years, but we're going to give that 1481 a ride for a while now.
Oh yeah, well again, probably the primary reason I would have made that decision anyway is because I feel a responsibility as net control to have the best reception and signal that I can, and of course nobody's paying me to do that, but it's just fun to have that ability, you know.
Oh yeah, and you're sounding great, and getting the signals in there well. It's doing you a great job. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say Merry Christmas to you and your family, and to everyone out there on the net, and I hope everyone has a blessed and wonderful Christmas this year, and we'll hopefully talk to you here in a little bit on the sideband net. NAPPY.
Yeah, very good. That was Rusty, and he's in Murfreesboro, as they say, the borough. November 8th, Papa Yankee, and great signal in there. And appreciate you being there, Rusty. Who? Anybody else outside the 40?
KN4CCQ.
Hello, Preston. How are you doing tonight? You sound good. You've been on a long wait here, huh?
Oh, that's all right, man. I just kind of writing down who I can hear and who I can't, but had a lot of good signals out there tonight. Everybody sounded really good.
Yeah, so you were probably copying Lewisburg as well as the Shelbyville stations, huh?
Yeah, they sounded fine here. No problem.
Well, that's because you got that nice little tower and a decent antenna and a good elevation.
Yeah, sometimes I got, just depends on which direction I'm going. Got a couple hills around here still get to me. But sounding good yourself out there tonight, Paul. I'll say 73s and let you get back to it. And Merry Christmas to you and everybody else.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you and your family and the dogs as well. That was Preston, Kilo November 4, Charlie, Quebec. He's in Possum Trot. Anybody else out of the 40?
KI4NDN, low power.
Low power. How low are you there? Yeah, I'll think of your name in a second. David. How low'd you go?
All right, that's 5 watts setting, but what? 3 watts out the antenna, probably. What you think?
Well, I think you're doing real fine. I wasn't looking at the meter, but I got a good copy on the audio.
Yeah, I was hearing that Lewisburg station. I cannot hear the Shelbyville station, just barely.
Huh. Yeah, because that's using a beam pointed north, and I got to think about that. If he's coming from Shake Rag, I'm not sure it's coming over top of you, is I guess what I'm guessing. I haven't looked at a map.
Yeah, it must not be. Of course, I'm pointed on a little 4-element Yankee towards you. And I did at least hear both stations just barely, but not really copy them.
All right, very good. I appreciate you being in there, David. And yeah, your low power is working great with that little beam pointed in my direction. Appreciate you being there. Haven't heard from you in a little bit, but glad you're there. That was David, Kilo India 4 November, Delta November, and he is in Reedyville. Who else out of the 40? Charles, you still out there hanging on? North? Must have walked away. Is there any late check-ins then? Late check-ins any place, anywhere?
Kilo India 4 Sierra India Kilo 4 Quebec Papa Romeo.
The Quebec Papa Romeo station. Hang on one second. Richard, I got you in there. Kilo India 4 Sierra India Bravo. What you doing up there?
I'm sorry I'm late. I was sitting outside conversing with my XYL and simply lost track of time. Been sitting out there for an hour or two, but I wanted to come in here and say hello to everybody and hope everybody's ready for Christmas. And looks like that December the 30th thing, a week from tomorrow, we're going to have 2 groups. One from like 8 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock that morning, and I'm going to say roughly we'll be talking on radio around 10 a.m. on that group. Now, the second group will come in at 1, and we'll probably have that talk time around 1500, 3 o'clock that afternoon. So I'm going to take an hour off the back end of each class and do the radio talking then. And that's going to be the game plan if you can broadcast that to folks.
All right, will do. That was Richard. He's over in Lebanon, but he wanted to remind us about the December 30th, the Boy Scout event that they're doing from the Boy Scout camp, which I forgot the name. What's the name of that Boy Scout camp? Well, it's the one north of Lebanon. They're going to be on the air on December 30th with some radio, amateur radio merit badges. And so they're going to be on the air like 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. But I'll be sending out a reminder on the net about that and on the email, and we'll be talking about it again before the 30th. Well, good to have you in there, Richard. And that other station, Quebec Papa Romeo, could I have your call again, please?
Kilo 4 Quebec Papa Romeo, Russell.
Very good, Russell. Forgive me, but have we talked before?
Yes, sir. I dropped the
Ah, okay. And what's your location again, please? Ah, very good, Laverne. Yeah, I'm. Since we haven't talked a whole lot, or maybe I don't know what you're listening, but I retired and live here, and I don't get out very much. Not for any other reason. I don't have any reason to get out. I don't work. I'm retired, so uh, my knowledge of geography and there's towns that check in. I've never even been to many of the towns that check in, so I feel kind of ignorant about geography. But I do know where Laverne is. What kind of antenna do you use there, Russell?
The extended rubber duck.
Ah, that's right. That's what it is. And actually, you're doing pretty good from Laverne because you're doing about S7 or so into this station.
Is this a simplex?
Yes, it certainly is.
That's why I can't hear but you and a couple other people.
Yeah, that would be it. It's that's what drives a lot of people who work Simplex. They go, I can't hear enough stations. I need a better antenna. Even with an HT, which I have done, hooked up to an antenna with some elevation, you can hear a lot.
I'm working on either a J pole or a dipole, but I haven't got the parts yet.
Yeah, whatever you can work up is great because it's sure going to beat the heck out of that. Even that extended rubber duck on the HT. But you're doing fine right now to me, and I'm sure there's some other stations, at least in your area down there, as well as up here in Mount Juliet. It's a little tough getting over like all the way across I-40, but I'm sure other people can hear you.
Roger. K4 NPR. QPR.
Yeah, very good. That's Kilo for Quebec, Papa Romeo. Russell, he's in Laverne on an HT, doing really a fine job to me. Anybody else south of 40?
KG4S5.
Hey, there you go. I called you earlier, and you had stepped away, I guess.
I heard you go back to south of 40. So I was hoping I was at the right time.
Ah, no, you're doing fine. Good to have you in there, Charles. You're number 30 tonight, so it was a big number tonight.
Yeah, I hope you didn't see my message on the YouTube. Somebody said no hat and shirt or something, and I was like, only the gray hair.
Oh, no, it wouldn't matter. I wasn't. I got gray hair. I got plenty of it. It's better than being, well, I don't want to insult anybody who's balding, but it's better than being bald.
What brought you to Tennessee?
My wife, my potential wife lived here, came down and met her, and we got married.
Good reason. I heard a 7 call from Washington State. Did he move here?
Yes, he lives over here in Mount Juliet, and he's working off an HT. So were you able to hear him?
No, I heard him on the YouTube.
Okay, yeah, he's relatively new here. He does a little bit of traveling, but yeah, he's new here. We got a couple of people that moved in here from, I guess it's getting too expensive to live out west.
I heard you got Lewisburg. What's the furthest you've heard?
From this station, probably the furthest is that station we had a month or so ago in Alabaster, Alabama, which is about 200 miles.
Oh, wow. There's something else I was going to ask you. It just slipped my mind, but mine's left me today.
That's all right. You know what they say? Of all the things I've lost, it's my mind that I miss the most.
All right, thank you. It's a little bit chilly now. They said something about rain, but I only see it all the way back in Kansas, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't pay much attention to the weather people anyway. They don't always seem to know what's going on. All right, very good, Charles. Good to have you in there. That's Kilo Golf 4 Sierra Foxtrot. He's in Cottontown, up north of almost due north of me, up in Cottontown. Good 25 miles or so. Great signal. Anybody else out the 40 or late check-ins?
Kilo Bravo 9, Romeo Kilo.
You just had to be number 31, did you?
That's right. How you doing, Paul? I'm on low power today.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell. I wasn't looking at the meter, but I'm pretty sure you're pegging it.
I'll look at the video once I get the internet going here. Yeah, I got sidetracked trying to work on the computer, doing an upgrade, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't want to do any upgrades to computers anymore. I got enough problems with the ones I have. Yeah, you sound great. You were pegging the meter, by the way, on your low power. When you say low power, was that 5 watts?
Yeah, that's 5 watts.
Well, it's doing great. I wouldn't upgrade your antenna at this point.
I have to, so I can hear all those guys on the south.
Yeah, that's true. That's when really that's what drives most people to do it. Really, it's strictly to hear other stations. I'm relatively easy to hear, especially for you, and so. But it's everything that would be south would be really difficult where you are. Well, with what you have, let's put it that way.
Yeah, with the indoors, sure. No, hey, you told me that when I first checked in. You said, "Oh, you're going to get out okay, but you're not going to hear very well because you had, experienced that yourself, and you were right on the money."
Yeah, well, I've been in that boat, so I know the routine as well myself. If you got a compromised antenna system, you can get out really loud, and maybe more. Some people can hear you, but you're not going to necessarily hear them. All right, very good. That was Frank Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo Kilo. He was number 31 in the group here, which is an amazing number for the weekend of Christmas. I was surprised really, and he's in northwest Mount Juliet here, North Wilson County. Who else? Anybody else? Late check-ins, please come now. No more late check-ins. Frank's going to wrap it up for us. Anybody late check-ins? Then of course you all know we move over to the sandbaggers, lurkers, lollygaggers, and scanner listeners, and even the PC donglers, the SDR donglers. All righty, then we're going to close down this portion of the net. We had a grand total of 31, if I was keeping a reasonable track of things. It's nice to see that many people in there. That's a little above average for us, but again, truthfully, it doesn't matter to me if it's 10 or 30. It's whoever's in there is interested and able to come in that night. So don't ever feel guilty if you can't make it. And whatever you do, family comes first and work comes second. And it might be the other way around, but it's usually that way. And ham radio is third. It's just a hobby. All right, let me move over. Then we'll go to the buy, sell, swap, and swindle net. I do know that that there's some Heathkit equipment available. You'll probably be putting that up on the web. Do you have a list or something that you can put up there, Robin? I don't know if Robin's still in there.
I heard someone key up.
Yeah, I certainly did. Somebody was bumping the mic there. I don't hear Robin. But does anybody else have anything that they would like to sell or is looking for something to buy? Nothing heard. If you do have something to buy that you'd like to buy, or you have something to sell, you can always post it to the group here on the Yahoo group, or you can send it to me and I'll post it if you're not sure how to do that. So no big thing one way or the other. If you will, and we're going to move over now. I want to make sure anybody else have anything else on the buy, sell, swap, and swindle net. All right, nothing heard. We're going to move over to the sideband portion for those that are still not sleeping or went off to do other things. That's on 144.240 on single sideband, and most of us are going to be vertical polarized, and you don't have to be though. You can be any polarization you want. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to switch over, and I'll catch you guys later. Appreciate everybody who checked in on the 2 meters FM net, and of course it was 31, which is we've only had 3 occasions where we went over 30, and this is one of them. So we'll catch you guys later. Appreciate everybody who checked in, and we're going to move over to the sideband net. 144.240. Thanks, everybody.
Question real quick.
What'd you have?
Have you ever hooked an HT to your good antenna?
Oh yeah, I did 0.05 watts on the HT out through this antenna, and I'm pretty sure you would have copied me because Michael up there in Belshire copied me okay.
I just wondered how well you heard on there. I guess it'd be the same.
Well, it was a lower audio, but he was able to copy me fine.
I mean, if you hook up an HT and a mobile or whatever, or base, it'd be the same on the same antenna.
Oh yeah, no, it worked great on the same antenna. My same antenna, it was fine.
Hey, are you on the air every night?
No, well, am I on the air? Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. I am on the air these 2 nights, Wednesdays and Saturdays, yeah.
I hear you on some other nights. I just wondered if you'll be on tomorrow night.
Sunday night, yeah, probably be hanging around. Usually I leave it on so I can monitor or just hear what's going on, but sometimes I'm not in here. Depends on what we're doing with the family. But anyway, Charles, let me move over to the sideband net. I'll catch everybody else there. Gotta go. K4 PEW.
Merry Christmas to your family.
Yeah, you too, Charles. Have a good one. Hope everybody's all right and take care of that new little girl.
KG4S weapon.
Alrighty, for those still with us, this is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey. We're taking check-ins on the sideband portion of that on 144. Hold on. All right, now I was goofing around. I was on the wrong frequency. Now I'm on 144, 240, and we're looking for check-ins on the sideband portion of the Mount Juliet Simplex Net. This is K4 PEW. Who else we got? We'll start out east again. East of Mount Juliet Road. North of Mount Juliet Road.
KB9RKK.
Hey, Frank. Very good. Let me move on here for a second. Who else north of Mount Juliet? West of Mount Juliet, please come in.
Whiskey 4, Alpha Whiskey Echo.
All righty. Thank you guys for hanging in there for the whole net there. It's already gone an hour and 20 minutes or so. Good to have you in there, John. Anybody else west of Mount Juliet? South of Mount Juliet, south of 40, please come in.
Kilo Echo 4, Tango, Yankee Juliet.
Yeah, appreciate your patience there, Jim. It's been a long night so far with that many check-ins, but you're doing great. Anybody else south of 40? Hold on. Yeah, I got you in there, Preston. There was another station that doubled with you. Who was that?
November 8, Papa Yankee.
Ah, very good, Randy. Rusty, good to have you in there. Sound good. How much power are you able to run on your sideband?
It is running well. It sounds good.
All right, how much power do you have that you're putting out?
5 watts.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, that's right. You're only on the 5-watt machine. No, you're doing fine to me. And your reception is good?
Oh, yeah, sounding good. The Preston sounds really good.
Very good. Yeah, Preston's got a good system over there. Good to have you in there on the sideband portion, Rusty. Anybody else south of 40?
K1 SPD.
Hey, Scott, you sound good. You'd be copying Rusty pretty well, I imagine.
No, full quieted.
Yeah, that 5. I've always wanted one of those rigs, but I didn't want to have just 5 watts. I can do that on my other rigs, so I'm not sure why I'd want a QRP rig.
It's whatever floats the boat.
Oh, I know. I'm with you. I'm not knocking it. That was my logic. I mean, I think it's a great radio, that Yaesu. Anybody else, south, north, east, or west on sideband? Please come now. All righty, I think we wrapped it up. I got me in there, which is K4 PEW. We've got Frank, Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo, who is in northwest Wilson County. And we got John over in Bellevue. That's Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. And Jim down there in Woodbury. That's Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet. And Rusty. And November 8 PPY on the big 5 watts down there on the 817 machine, I believe it is. And he's in Murfreesboro. And we got Preston down there in Possum Trot, Kilo November 4 Charlie Quebec. And Scott in Laverne, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta. Is anybody not copying any of those stations, or is it everybody copying everybody? Well, I'm not hearing any complaints. I guess everybody's copying everybody there. All right, then we'll wrap that portion of the net up, and we'll move on to Oh, I got to eat dinner. I'm starved now. But we had 7 stations in there, which may be a record for sideband. Rusty, appreciate you being there to help us break the record.
No problem, man. It's good to finally have some equipment to do it with you. Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Rusty, and Merry Christmas to everyone else on the net. This is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey with the sideband portion of the net, closing it all down. And K4PEW, 73, folks.
All right, Paul, go get something to eat. Talk to you later. Russell, you're sounding good out here in Woodbury on 5 watts. KE4TYJ.
Well, thank you, Russell. I appreciate that.